What's up guys, welcome to your third Java game applet tutorial. What we're going to do in this tutorial is actually get into some graphics and create basically a ball that goes across our screen. Just to give you guys some introduction to animation, which we'll be needing most likely for a game. Again, I haven't decided on what kind of game I want to develop for you. But when we're painting to our applet, what we're going to need is the X position and the Y position. We're just going to move these positions around to get the movement that we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a couple integers. We're going to have one called X, and we're X like that, and we're going to set this equal to be 0 to start out with. We're also going to have an int Y, again 0, and also an int radius for our circle radius. So we're going to give it a radius of 10 pixels. And we might as well throw in also a couple other ones that you'll see often. dx for a change in x, we're going to set that equal to be 1 or 2, something like that, whatever you guys want. We're just experimenting right now. And dy is 2 as well. So there we go. We kind of have our initial values, initial variables set up. Now where we're going to use these variables is within our paint method. So we're going to go scroll down to the bottom of our class or wherever your paint method is, and within this paint method we get some information of an object called graphics. Relabels it G for us. Again, if you guys are brand new to Java, I'd recommend watching the first Java tutorial series. Go through that real quickly and you should pretty much understand most of the stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to refer to that variable that gets passed in called G, which is a graphics variable. And we have all these methods we can use to set the color of whatever we're going to paint, to set the shape, whether it be a square or a circle for our example. So what we're going to do first is set the color. We're just going to refer to, again, the graphics that's getting passed in called G, and we're just going to use a method called setColor. And as you can see, it takes a color within its parameter. So what we're going to do is we're going to refer to the color class, capital C, and then we're going to hit dot, and we have a list of different colors that we can choose from. So pick one of these colors that interest you, like green. I'm just going to use that. And there we go. We've set our graphic to be of the color green so far. So now that we have the color, we want to set up the shape and how to fill it, creating our circle. And again, we're going to refer to that G, and we're going to say fill oval. And as you can see, it takes 4 things within its parameters: an X, a Y, a width, and a height. We're defining how big our width will be from our X and our width. And then we're defining our height of our oval by the Y and the height here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the width and the height be the same. Both are going to be the value of our radius, so 10 pixels. You could either put 10 in here. I'm just going to use our variable since we set it up. Might as well use it, right? So how this works is Java knows that we're creating an oval, right? And it's going to start at the position X, Y. Both of those are set at 0, 0. So it's going to be at the top right corner of our screen. Again, Java works at the top left, and then so this is position 0, 0, and then this would be position, like 10, 0. This would be like 10, 10. It goes like that. So it counts up. Our X position will get more positive as it goes right, and our Y position will get more positive as it goes down our screen. So right now we're starting at 0, 0, and then it knows it's creating an oval, so it's gonna have the width of the oval be 10 away from our X position, so that would be 0 to 10, so we have a whole diameter of 10, which doesn't really make sense, but I'll get to why that is in a second. And then same with the Y. I could explain it. I could try and explain it, but might as well just show you guys what this looks like. So actually I'm going to real quickly change our radius to be, let's do 20. And then we're going to save this and run it and see what it looks like, our little applet that we get here. This is our, like I said, our applet. And it starts at the position 0, 0, and then it paints a width, and then it paints our height, and then it's going to create a circle within that radius. But the problem is, right now we're painting at the top left corner of our circle, where actually that point is that isn't part of the circle, but it's starting at the top left of our circle, and then it's painting the width and the height. But what we actually want to do is we want to have it within the center. We want it to be painted around the center, so we're going to try and manipulate our code so our circle is painted, the bottom right part of the arc of the circle painted right at that point real quickly. So let's go down, and I'll just again try and explain what I'm doing here. So for x position, what we're going to do is we're going to have the beginning of our circle be x minus the radius, and then we want the width to be the radius times 2, so it's actually our diameter. So now our term radius will actually be what it should be, a radius, not the whole diameter like I just had displayed there. So when we run this, our x now is centered, but now we need to center the y, as you can see. So what we're going to do is the same thing for our y. We're going to have our y minus our radius width. So right now it's 20, I believe. Is it 20? Yeah, 20. And then our height is going to be radius times 2, because again we want our height to be our diameter, which is, you know, twice the length of our radius. So we save that and run it, and as you can see now we get our circle centered around the 0, 0 position, and it should be somewhere like that. But now we want to get into some actual animation, because yeah, our circle is, you know, printing on the screen, but we want to get it into some animation. So what we're going to do is have our ball kind of move in a diagonal like this. So how we're going to achieve this is basically just changing the x position and the y position by our delta x, delta y, or our dx, dy. I'll just kind of show you guys, and hopefully you'll be able to break it down and understand it. But where we're going to do this is within our thread. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back up to our run method that we have here, and within our loop, every time it loops through, we're going to change our x position and our y position by the delta x and delta y. So let me just kind of explain this again. We're just going to have x is plus equal to dx. So it's just going to add dx to whatever our x currently is. And again, our dx we set equal to, we'll just change this to 1 and 1 for our dy and dx. So now we're changing our x from being 0 to 1 the first time it loops through. Second time it loops through, it's going to be from 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So as you can see, the more it loops through, the higher x is going to be. And then also we can do that as well with y. So we're just going to have y plus equal dy, again just adding 1 to y each time it loops through. So let's save this, run it, and see what happens. Oh, it's quick. So as you can see here, our ball is just moving diagonally down, which is cool. Let me try and run that again real quickly because it moves fast. It's a quick one. So as you can see, it just kind of moves in a diagonal from the top left corner down, because again we're adding 1 to the x and adding 1 to the y each time it loops through. Again, we could set our delta y to be 0, so our y direction will never change. Save this, run it, and now we have just our circle going horizontally on the screen. You know, whatever. So you guys can just experiment with that. Hopefully you guys kind of understand everything that's going on. Again, all we're doing is we're changing our x and our y positions within our thread. So each time it loops through, it updates our position of our circle, and then when it paints it, it still paints, you know, our x position minus the radius. That's the starting point, and then it finds the width, which is just our radius times 2, and then it does the same with the y minus the radius for the height, and then the height is actually radius times 2. So I mean, it might be kind of confusing just getting into like programming animations and stuff. Just work with it a little bit. If you guys are confused, I guarantee you'll get it. You know, some of these, like, you know, equations like x minus radius, like, it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on. So just experiment with some numbers. So that's it for this tutorial, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.